Bradford's moment of truth. They must win here at Salford tonight to have any chance of wresting that title off Wigan. The Willows will be the scene of their despair or glory. Gary Jack was once the world's top full-back. The Australian was 33 on Monday, a veteran for a player but a beginner in the coaching stakes. He's unearthed the star this season though in prop forward Terry O'Connor. His driving runs have illuminated Salford's season. He's already attracting interest from the bigger clubs. This could be the night that Andy Gregory hands the title on a plate to his former club Wigan. If Salford win tonight, Bradford will find it difficult to stop Wigan's march. But the little man had an absolute stormer at Central Park last month. Gregory's battle with Derek Fox will be one of the highlights of the game. Two of the main rivals for the British scrum half role in the 80s. They go head to head. This is Northern's point of no return. Paul Medley has operated in the second row as a hooker or on the wing this season. Bradford hope he'll do the trick on the wing again tonight. For a forward, he has some pace. He's a prolific try scorer. But when you talk about speed, look no further than Bremer Kebby. His 16 tries have done as much as anything in pushing Bradford's championship ambitions. Well, it began raining at midday here in Manchester and it hasn't stopped since. This was the scene just a few moments ago as the ground staff tried to sweep away the gallons of water that have settled on the surface. Apparently underneath all this though, the pitch is nice and firm. But it is a night for the Ducks. Just look at the water that is standing on the Willows surface. It will be a bit of a lottery, and that is something that Bradford could well have done without. But Derek Fox, their inspirational scrum half, talking to him today, and he said after the defeat against Lee last Sunday that this is the most important 80 minutes of Bradford's season. Despite the fact that they've lost players to the international in France and also David Watson to suspension, Fox knows just how important tonight's match really is. Salford emerge through the mud and onto the pitch. They haven't played for 3 weeks, but Andy Gregory is a man who could well give Wigan a major lift to that title. He won so much at Central Park during his career. The only man to win the Lance Todd Trophy twice at Wembley. And he has been an inspirational signing for Gary Jack here at Salford. Match referee is Russell Smith, and he is the man, and Russell Smith alone, who took the decision to play here tonight. I must say, Steve-o, when we arrived mid-afternoon, it looked impossible. Mr. Smith donned the boots, had a run and said, let's play.
Yes, it took a long time deliberating over this ground. It's very, very wet indeed. The kicking game, obviously, will be a key factor. You mentioned Andy Gregory and Derek Fox, great exponents of the short kicking game. A lot of mistakes, and I really do feel that it may come down to the strength and the fitness factor, because it really does take a lot out of you in these heavy conditions.
Paul Medley's inclusion as the winger tonight will be interesting. Former Great Britain international, tries in 2 of the last 3 Willows visits, and a try in Bradford Northern's win in October 1989, their last win here at the Willows. They haven't won on this ground for 5 years. It's quite a night for them to try and alter that particular record, isn't it? They know that the next 80 minutes will decide, perhaps, whether they will go right the way to the wire with Wigan for the championship, or whether it will founder on this treacherous surface here at the Willows tonight. Now, one of the Salford mascots there, the young girl just being led off the field, is Lauren Gregory, Andy Gregory's young daughter. She's 7 years old. She attends the Holy Family School at Cronton near Widnes, and there's a nice little moment for dad and daughter as she makes her way off the pitch. And the other mascot, by the way, Michael Whitehead. We must give him a mention too. We better give this fellow a mention. Greg Austin is making his second debut for Salford. He played with them in the 80s, and he's been signed by Gary Jack to add a little bit of firepower to their three-quarter line. He has scored tries wherever he has played. This Stonesborough Championship match then from the wet Willows is underway. And lottery, Steve-o, the word that comes to mind very easily tonight.
Well, we mentioned before, didn't it, the kicking game. We saw from the kick-off there, the ball just plopped down. And it really, look how they're sliding around. It is going to be extremely difficult. Tactics are going to play a major part. But the forwards, both sets of forwards, will have to work hard. It'll be grind for the full 80 minutes.
There's the first mistake from Paul Forber, and it's Roy Powell who has picked up that he is grounded on the 20-metre line. Let's quickly through the teams for you. Jack Critchley, Austin Williams, Ford, Blakely and Andy Gregory. The forwards, Young the captain, Lee O'Connor, Forber, Blease and Burgess. And on the bench it's Sean Brown and Bob Marsden. And this is Paul Gratian trying to drive his way to the line 10 metres from the Salford posts. Bradford team on the way in a moment for you. This meanwhile is David Heron. Good long ball out to Carl Hall. Oh, and that's a great tackle on Hall. It was by Austin. He was surely held. Austin let him go and Carl carried on the run, Carl Hall.
Well, for mine, the centre Carl Hall was definitely tackled by Greg Austin. It was a super low tackle. Scrambling defence from Salford, and it needs to be.
Derek Fox trying to engineer something, a little kick through, that's dangerous, and there's the first try. Paul Medley, a big blunder at the back for Salford, missed completely I think by Phil Ford for mine, and Medley was there to capitalise on the mistake, one of many we'll see this evening.
We mentioned the fact that the kicking game would prove so important in these slippery conditions, and this man Derek Fox, one of the great exponents of the little kick through. But what a mistake there by Phil Ford. He'd all the time in the world and presented Paul Medley with a gift, 4 points. Under a lot of pressure, but Fox, a beautiful, well-weighted kick. And look at that, Ford, awful mistake.
Paul Medley then, we picked him out before the kick-off, didn't we? Tries in each or two of the last 3 visits to the Willows. Fox with the attempted conversion, he's drifting it in and he's just clipped the post. That was so close. But Bradford Northern in the teeming rain have taken the lead. It's Salford 0 and Bradford 4. So what a start for Bradford. They've suffered heavy defeats here on their past 2 visits to the Willows. 38-4 last season, 23-6 the season before, but the perfect start at 4-0. Let's quickly run through the Bradford Northern team for you who've taken this early lead. Darks is the fullback, Medley, Shelford, Hall, Kebby, Summers and Fox. There's no Paul Newlove there, no Watson either, he's suspended. Up front, Gratian, Clark, Dixon, Powell, Greenwood and Heron. No Furbank, he is in France with Great Britain also. And Neil Holding and John Hamer on the bench. First appearance of the season for Neil Holding. Gratian with that drive up towards the halfway line. David Young just completing the tackle. This is Derek Fox. He will drift another kick over the top. Into space behind Gary Jack. It spins off one of the puddles. Jack collects. Gary Jack, I must say, the Salford player coach, keen as mustard to get this game on. He wanted it played. There was no doubt about that. He says, Steve-O, it's a lot worse in Carlisle Park in Auckland than it is here at Salford.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. It is awful conditions, as you can see. And desperation really for Salford. They want to get into the playoffs. They need to finish in that top 8. They're desperate to have a good showing, trying to get to Old Trafford. But just by the same token, Bradford, of course, it's so desperate. The loss to Lee last week, a big problem. It's vital they get those 2 points tonight.
It's Mark Lee, the dummy half. He will work the ball out wide to Critchley. And that dab forward from Critchley took a little clip, I think, off Bree McKebby. That will be a scrum, and Salford's head and feed.
Critchley kicked through there, and you can see that Bree McKebby actually made an attempt to go for the football. Wasn't accidental, made an attempt for it, so therefore it will be a head and feed to the Red Devils.
And they have possession with Blakely, now with Gary Jack, wanting to get Salford going after trailing to that early try. And look at the aquaplane there in that tackle by Neil Summers on Gary Jack.
There's one thing, there'll be no doubt about a double movement tonight. Anyone diving from about 10 metres out will sail over.
Young with this run, a great run too for Salford. Held 10 metres short of the line, 5 minutes gone. Bradford 4, Salford 0. This is Burgess, now Gary Jack gets the ball out wide. Medley got a touch of that, and that'll again be Salford's head and feed.
Desperation time there, and Medley, you can see, getting the right hand to it.
Let's go downstairs. Bradford's coach Peter Fox with Bill Arthur.
Peter, you weren't happy about conditions before the game started. Any happier now you've got points on the board?
It makes no difference. The fact is, the bad conditions, mistakes and errors can win or lose a match. You show them they can error down there, that's how we score. They can be a difference in the game today.
Yes, Peter Fox summing up what we all know. The conditions are awful, but Salford on the charge with Burgess. Hauled down by his opposite number, David Heron. They're so close are Salford. This is Andy Gregory. Had to turn and switch the direction of this attack. Ian Blease. He is grounded by Roy Powell. It's Mark Lee who's the dummy half. They're just inches away from that line. The ball now with Critchley. Turns it back to Burgess, who couldn't hang on. The ball went backwards though. Forward dropping on it. Retained possession for the Red Devils. It's Gregory. And now Blakely. Gary Jack has chimed into the line. Blakely taking it on his own. It's the last tackle here for Salford. They are 10 metres short of the line. Gregory will dab it forward surely over the top, looking for the runner out wide, but it ran dead in goal.
He won't be happy with that. Andy Gregory, chip over the top when really it should have been on the ground. That's how Derek Fox created the first try for Bradford.
Gratian with that driving run for Bradford Northern. 4 straight away league victories for Bradford. Their 3rd defeat away from home came at the Boulevard against Hull in January.
Another big bearing on this game is how either set of forwards share the work. You can't afford to hide in these conditions. You have to spell it, bring the forwards, share the hard work, and tough it out, because it's going to be hard there.
Shelford's ball to Fox. There's another deep kick from the little scrum half. Again, spins off the turf, but it won't run dead. It's a cracking kick. Jack has to scamper after it, pick it up, and then Fox following up traps him. That's a wonderful tackle and a great run from Derek Fox.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Bradford. Great chasing game. Nice kick into the corner. Oh, a mistake.
Critchley drops it. Dixon collects it, but it is a knock on. It'll come back for the scrum.
See Critchley there, never in full control of it, slipping away. They'll play the first knock on, even though Dixon also knocked on.
Russell Smith, the referee, telling the backs of Salford to get onside. Now they can move up to try and trap Summers. Austin and Blakely. Fox to Heron. Heron running straight, turns the ball back to Richard Darks, who drops it. It's going to be one of those nights. Don't look for the finer skills of the game this evening. It's going to be a hard slog for these two sides. David Young trying to get away from Darryl Shelford, couldn't do so. Oh, that's risky business in these conditions, it really is. A good job that Ian Blease was there, playing the ball there, the Salford number 12. Second row man, making his 200th appearance for the Salford club here tonight. What a night to pick.
Okay, fellas, leave it!
Andy Gregory in the deepest water. He's the shortest man, and he drowned then. Paul Former, lovely ball to Gregory. Ball inside to Mark Lee. On another day that would have stuck tight.
Well, the option back inside, the wily half-back Gregory there. But I'm afraid the hooker Mark Lee couldn't hang on to it.
Heron, 36 years old, the oldest man on the park, and skipping through these conditions. Fox, the dummy half. Here's Roy Powell. Steps inside Blakely. Lost the ball. Well, I don't know whether it's fair really to keep account of the handling errors tonight on an evening like this, but there have been plenty already.
You just got to put them away, back of your mind, really.
That's a great run. It was Terry O'Connor. Blakely. And there's Blease again. Good tackling by Summers. I must say, as this match progresses, Steve-O, if not only will it be a nightmare for the players, it might be for us trying to identify the shapes and the muddied bodies. There's Greg Austin, enveloped by 3 tacklers, loses the ball. Ball went backwards, David Heron dropped on it, it's play on.
Well, it's like a cake of soap, isn't it? There'll be plenty of that, more to come. But if you like rugby league, hard and tough, expect that tonight.
Those handling errors are creeping up, aren't they? 6 in the first 10.5 minutes here. As I say, perhaps a little unfair to count those on an evening like this, but I'm sure the coaches will be watching that total as closely as we will. Gratian with the run, slid about 5 metres then forward. This is Fox. Now it's Heron. Heron trying to escape the clutches of Gregory, can't do so. Forward is there to finish him off.
The important factor, of course, is that either side to play out the full 6, not to give away possession early in the tackle count, and then of course use the kick downfield, keep the chases going. Turned out to be a little bit like a game of chess tonight.
That's going to be a feature too, isn't it? When the man is tackled about 10 metres from the touchline, the tacklers will no doubt try and slide them into touch, but that ball finds touch from the boot of Derek Fox.
Well, he's starting to take control already, isn't he, Derek Fox? Already created the first try. That's another wonderful kick right into the corner.
Peter Fox knows this is the moment of destiny for his team. They've chased Wigan all season. They lead the big league. They are the challengers who can take the title away from Wigan. Meet them twice, of course, later in the season, in April. One of those matches you can see live on Sky, the game at Central Park, which could well decide the destiny of the Big League Championship this year. And mark it in your diaries now, it's the 15th of April, Friday night. Forber, been a revelation since he has moved here from St Helens. Gregory tried to get the ball away, it bounced forward before it was slipped back by Mark Lee.
Offside. There you'll see Gregory and Mark Lee, the hooker, in an offside position, squeezes out, touches the ball, trying to be a bit crafty, flip it through his legs, but the referee, Russell Smith, having none of that.
12.5 minutes gone, the game's first penalty there. I suppose also, Steve, on a night like this, discipline obviously is going to be the key also.
Well, it's a matter of putting yourself in the right position. Now that Bradford are down here in the Salford quarter, all they have to do is just keep using the little kick, not to put it in dead or into touch, but to just put it in, short little grubber kick, get the chase moving.
Trevor Clark, the dummy half, to Fox. They do look busy, Bradford, don't they? They've adapted to the conditions better in the opening 13 minutes. And they lead by 4-0. This is Gratian. Good run from Gratian. Took on Gregory. Got the ball away to Powell. Roy Powell just halted. They're so close, though, Bradford, to their second try. Fox will fire the long ball out. And it goes even further out wide also to Hall. He keeps the movement going to Brima Kebby. It's the last tackle for Bradford Northern. Can the Salford defence stand firm? Fox with the kick through again. And it was Peter Williams, was it, who dropped on it? No, it wasn't. It was Mark Lee.
Good play by the hooker there. Really had to put his body on the line. But another good kick from Derek Fox. There you see it. Offside. Not squared at the play of the ball. You must stand behind the second marker. He cannot move to one side, and you can see quite clearly on the replay. A yard to one side, a little bit over-eager there. It was the hooker, Trevor Clark, on the Bradford side, and this really is a relieving penalty for Salford.
Blakely, the man to take the penalty, one of a number of former Wigan players in this Salford side. How ironic it would be if Salford could turn Bradford over tonight and give Wigan a fighting chance, or more than a fighting chance, of picking up their 5th consecutive big league title. David Young, Welsh international Young, driving Salford up to halfway. That's a good run from the prop forward. The hooker is Lee at dummy half. He is Paul Forber. Forward now gone. Salford on one of their rare sorties into the Bradford half of the field. The kick forward was by Williams, and it was dropped on by Paul Medley. Here's Derek Fox.
Well, Bradford quite happy to try to keep the ball out wide. Not frightened to try to use the three-quarter line. It's a gamble that they're prepared to take. And as yet, they've made very few mistakes.
Clark with this run. Andy Gregory bounces off him, comes back for a second bite. Helped out a bit by Paul Forber. Shelford the dummy half. Fox gets it away to Heron. He invites the runner Summers to have a go, who passes the ball out, and perhaps he should have gone to ground. And here's Peter Williams now for Salford. That's a good tackle in the mud by Clark. Now Burgess. Ford is there in support. Ford, fleet of foot normally, a top of the ground player. Hauled down by Medley, good chasing. Blakely. That's Ian Blease. Wrestler to the ground. Was there a swinging arm there? The referee was quickly in, had a look, said play on. Young.
Blease certainly wasn't happy with that. It was a little bit swinging on the arm. But these Salford forwards have to start running onto the ball. They're just hanging back slightly. And in these conditions, if you can get the momentum going, you're a pretty hard target to stop.
It's the last tackle for Salford. Here's Gregory trying to engineer something, the long pass, but he is pulled back for obstruction using his player coach. I think it was Gary Jack as the foil.
He is one of the forwards also. There you can see it. It was Paul Forber, and Forber made contact. He just changes his decision here. There you can see Forber moving through. Made contact with the hooker, Trevor Clark, and that was enough for the referee, Russell Smith, to decide that it was unfair play.
Well, the rain continues to pour down on this muddy, wet surface at the Willows. I must say it's a credit to the players of both sides that we've had such an enterprising opening 17 and a half minutes. Powell with the run up to halfway. Fox and Heron. Nice run from Heron. Makes 15 metres. Great run, and he's not held. He keeps going. Takes another 10.
That was great play by the loose forward Heron, but awful tackling from Salford.
Trevor Clark steps away from one challenge. Fox is there, so too is Shelford. The ball comes away from Shelford into the arms of Williams, and Salford will launch another attack through Paul Forber.
Put that down to the winger, Phil Ford. He spotted the fact that Shelford was coming on, ball and all tackle, and it made the ball slip out. It was super defence there from Ford.
Phil Ford, Welsh international, didn't have the happiest match against the French at Cardiff a few weeks ago. Gary Jack trying to drive through a little hole in that Bradford defence. The gap was quickly stopped by Derek Fox, who then interfered at the tackle, and Salford have a penalty.
Nice tackle from Derek Fox, but you'll see Powell just push him down there, or perhaps did we see the Australian Gary Jack milk that for all it was worth? Either way, Salford get the penalty. The big problem with Salford so far is that they're getting into a good position, but they're losing possession very early in the tackle count.
Terry O'Connor in possession for them, the prop forward, one of the finds of the season here. And here's David Young. Mention in these parts of a swap between David Young and the Warrington Welsh international Roland Phillips. Whether that's substantiated or not later in the season, we shall see. Possession very much in Salford's favour, but the match at the moment 4-0 to Bradford. But Salford enjoying their best spell of the game, and here's Greg Austin. Austin will dab that forward. There's a mistake, a slip from Medley, and he just managed to recover in time.
Well, it was wonderful play from Greg Austin. The only problem is that the Salford players didn't read it too. So you could see Medley slip, and there was just no one there to take advantage. That should have been a try.
The dropouts from under the posts are going to be a nightmare too. It only reaches Forber, and Salford back in the danger zone. Those are much better moments for Salford. Midway through this first half, they trail against Bradford by 4 points to 0. And their player coach Gary Jack will take this up. Lee gets the ball away to O'Connor. Time here for the big forwards really to get a roll on and run onto this ball at pace. Lee again, watched all the way though by Summers. Gregory, Blakely, Jack, Williams. There's a little gap there, but a thunderous challenge coming in on Jack, on Williams rather.
Great play from Paul Medley. Played most of his football in the forwards, but on the right wing tonight. Look at that shoulder charge. Peter Williams feeling the full impact of that. But wonderful play there by Medley.
Head-to-head over the years, the past 20 years there have been 31 matches. Bradford lead 19-12 in the series. But Bradford have only won 6 here in the past 20 years, since two-division football was reintroduced. Quite a record Salford have against Bradford Northern, who lead at the moment though, the big league leaders, by 4-0. That Paul Medley try. And there's Medley with that run. Oh, and a right mess at the play the ball. Ian Blease was sniffing for it, but must have moved off the mark.
Well, you can see there that he was interfering. The ball had not cleared the ruck. Not standing directly square. Always a bit of a problem for the referees to sort out, especially in these conditions.
Dixon, it wasn't a bad tackle that, was it? By David Young. Gratian gets the ball away. Bradford keeping this movement going. Heron, Summers, little gap for Summers. A good job that Austin was there.
To be fair to both sides, they really are trying to play enterprising football. We've seen runarounds from Salford, long ball from Andy Gregory. The same with Bradford. Derek Fox, Summers trying hard to try to get the link going. They're not frightened to play three-quarter play.
They're not indeed. And there's a lovely dab forward on another day by Summers, but soccer skills. It's the centre, Carl Hall, who picked it up, the man with the eye for the try line. Well, he was halted then.
The centre, Carl Hall, didn't realise he had Brimakebe unmarked on the outside.
Heron's grounded. That's the last tackle for Bradford Northern, right in front of the sticks. No night this for drop goals. Little chips over the top perhaps, but Ford collects it and gets out of jail.
No mistake there from the Welsh international Phil Ford. He read it perfectly. Derek Fox perhaps trying to just catch him off guard with a little chip over the top. But I still feel that the option in this awful condition has to be pulling the ball on the ground. It can slide anywhere and can stop at any time.
This is Forber, stands in the tackle, gets it away to Lee. He finds Gregory. Gregory will chip one along the ground, then pick it up almost one-handedly. Almost brilliant play. A little frustration from the little man.
Little frustration from Adam Greenwood as well. This was pretty late. He's allowed to tackle him, but perhaps not that hard. You saw the look from Andy Gregory at the referee Russell Smith. He can't believe it. Took a while for the penalty to come. That was pretty hard. The swinging arm, perhaps a touch of the knee going in.
Well, Gregory got the benefit of the doubt from Russell Smith. It's a penalty to Salford. They will relaunch another attack. And whereas in the opening 10 minutes or so they couldn't get out of their own half, now they are camped almost exclusively in the Bradford Northern territory. Runs like this from Forber.
He's in fine form, hasn't he? It took him a while to get going here at Salford.
The ball slipped out. Referee Russell Smith looks to both touch judges and has ruled it's a knock-on.
Well, no one saw it, did they? Just slipped out. Was it helped? He looked for both touch judges, but no answer from either one. And for a bit of a pause there, Russell Smith were left in no man's land. What had happened? They've opted for the scrum. Must have been the knock-on. From the replay, that's the right decision.
That's Richard Darks, the stand-in fullback for Dave Watson. The New Zealand international suspended for 5 matches last night by the disciplinary committee. He misses his first big league game of the season tonight. This is Paul Gratian. Suddenly Bradford have stopped making inroads into Salford territory, haven't they? Fox.
Well, perhaps that's been brought about by the message, I'm sure, with the captain coach on the paddock, Gary Jack, is that they've got to start tackling a little bit low. For a period in time, they were going far too high. The forwards were making inroads.
Critchley grounded. Lee, the dummy half. Gary Jack, here he is. Steve-O says, captain coach. Hard enough job being a coach, hard enough being a player, but Gary Jack's trying to do both. And the ball there slipping out. I think the referee will play first knock on, and the first knock on was by Gary Jack.
Well, you see this at the Summer Olympics. They use a round ball to do this on the gymnastics.
By the way, the academy match that should have been the curtain raiser to this game was called off, obviously, because of the conditions. So we're going to show you Australian Rugby League instead on Sunday morning at 8. It's Manly against Canterbury. It's a match from the first round of this year's Winfield Cup. Meanwhile, Bradford on the attack again. It's Adam Greenwood. This is Fox. They work the run around with Gratian, who decides to take the initiative himself. 27 minutes gone. Bradford just ahead. Heron slips, gets the ball away, but it's picked up by Ian Blease. Now Gregory and Forber.
Just trying to be a little bit too fancy there, Bradford. You can see that the loose forward, David Heron, slipping. Was looking for the inside man. And if the man is not there at the right moment in these conditions, the move has to be aborted.
Gregory running diagonally, giving it to Blease, who then... and Gregory went in with the boot then to try and clear his lines after Blease dropped it, and it was bravery on the part of the Bradford Northern player, Trevor Clark it was. No, it wasn't, it was Darryl Shelford.
Did well, Shelford, the centre. Put his body on the line, this one. Woof.
Here's Powell. It takes 3 to bring him down.
Really is going to be a battle royal between the two sets of forwards. Strength and stamina.
That was Heron's long pass out wide. You can see the way that Carl Hall then was tackled, but then slid about 5 or 6 more metres forward. Here's Kevy. Carl Hall can't get through. Gratian, driving run from Gratian. So close. Good defence, scrambling defence from Salford. Last tackle. Gratian trying to get to his feet. Finds Fox. Fox will drift one in the corner. Medley there again, but Medley offside. He's called it offside, and Medley's crashed into the advertising hoardings.
He gave it a good knock as well, but a neat little kick. See from the high shot there. And I'm not so sure that he was offside. He looked all right from this angle, but you could see the referee Russell Smith already pointing away, and crunch time. Whoa. That hurts.
Paul Medley didn't need treatment, he's all right. Just applied the air brakes somehow before he did even more damage either to himself or to the advertising hoarding. So Bradford, it looked to us there as though that was a perfectly good try, disallowed by referee Russell Smith for offside, and it's Salford in possession with their loose forward Andy Burgess. He finds Lee, who in turn finds Forber.
There's a line of the offside, and there's a man circled, which was Medley, and he looks well and truly onside, doesn't he?
That was when the kick was taken. Referees have to make instant decisions, though. Kebby had to make an instant decision then. Slid in and just stopped the danger. Darks slapped the tackles away.
Once again, Salford being caught going far too high. Fullback Richard Darks making ground. 3 players attempted to try to get at him. They've got to go low. Well, it's not the most enticing thing to be sliding around in these conditions.
Ball inside from Summers to Shelford. It's a great run from Shelford. Can he get round Jack? He can. Shelford. So close to adding to the tally, but a good tackle from Critchley and Ford. The 2 wingers shuttling back. This is Fox again. Switches once more the direction of the attack, but it's Critchley and Ford doing the tackling.
Great cover defence from Jason Critchley, and it had to be. You could see the encouragement of Daryl Shelford.
Medley just couldn't hang on. Was on the last tackle, so he'll bring Salford back despite the boos from the crowd for the turnover.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The ball was knocked forward.
Well, conditions getting worse as this evening progresses. And that's Terry O'Connor. But well done, and full marks to both sides. They are putting on quite a match for us here down in the big league. And on Sunday we switch our attention to London against Workington. Top match at the top of the second division. 2 sides with eyes on a place in the big league this time next year. It's the last tackle for Salford. Gregory starting, I think, to lose his rag a bit is Andy Gregory. Williams, quick hands, good play. Ford clips the ball over the top. Blease is after it. It's a lottery for the fullback Darks, who manages to pick up, but is then slid in goal. It'll be a dropout from underneath his own sticks.
Wonderful play by Phil Ford. Realised that there was no way through. Put the kick through, and it was well chased by the second rower, Ian Blease. Excellent play. He made a mistake for the first try of the game, but nearly made it up then. That was great play. Beautiful pass from the centre, Peter Williams.
Now, was that a knock-on by Gary Jack? No, referee says that it went backwards, gives him the benefit of the doubt. It was a great tackle on Jack by Kebby. Critchley at dummy half.
Salford just building in confidence at the moment. They're starting to run forward, getting across that advantage line. That will lift their spirits. And they're playing the ball pretty quickly too. You can see Bradford is still going backwards in defence.
Yes, they're trying to up the pace. Blease's pass was missed. Lee continues the movement going. The referee says knock on. And they're talking back then by one of the Salford players, penalty Bradford. Frustration for the Red Devils.
Well, even if things go against you, ball perhaps going backwards, you allowed the play on. The advantage ruled in. Russell Smith wasn't happy with it, but a few words, certainly not of wisdom anyway, have let Bradford off the hook again. That has been their problem in this first half. Salford get in a great position and they throw it away with silly mistakes.
They earn their corn though, don't they, the players in the big league? State of this pitch tonight.
They do in this condition, but this guy seems to be reveling in it, doesn't he? That's a good season. Paul Gratian loves to take the ball up. These are the conditions for him to do that.
Trevor Clark's run halted by Mark Lee and Forber. Roy Powell to Fox. Long pass from Fox to Summers. Summers had a little glance, invited Kebby to have a run. Critchley was there to tidy up the danger. But they're the tactics, Steve-O. Plonk the ball in the mud here and anything can happen.
Well, that's about all you're left with, really, apart from just hard work from everybody around you. Work as a team, share the workload, because when it gets down to the last quarter, that's when they'll be gulping for air. That's when it will really test these players. Substitutions will be important too. When to bring them on, when to give some players a rest. It's all tactical.
Last time out here at the Willows, Salford beat Halifax resoundingly, 34 points to 14. They're in a good vein of form since this little fellow arrived, Andy Gregory. That kick, though, finds touch and nothing else. Since Gregory arrived, they've lost just once on the big league to Warrington on Sky on bonfire night.
Still has the skills, doesn't he? Getting on in years now, Andy Gregory, but threw the little dummy there and the gap open. Perhaps a few years ago it would have been scooting through. But on that occasion, electing to put the kick forward.
Summers to Darks, the full-back, trying to get away from Blakely. Shelford, just short of halfway. Say the lines here at the Willows tonight becoming obliterated as this game progresses. And Summers dives over the top.
Talking about diving over the top, someone did dive over the top and just missed.
Gratian hangs on, game lead for Bradford. That's David Heron, I think. Identification, Steve-O, is going to be a problem. I hope that you've got some extra jerseys with them, Bradford and Salford.
You hope. 26 players out there, they're hoping too. It's not a nice thing to sit in for the 10-minute break at half-time in wet clothes like that.
Ball comes free off O'Connor. Play on, says the referee. It wasn't stolen. Carl Hall, the dummy half. He pointed right, ran left. That's a good run from Hall. Really has got an eye for a possible touchdown, has Carl Hall. 22 tries this season, 18 of them for Doncaster. Here's David Heron. They're 9 metres short of the line, Bradford. In possession with Fox. That's a good run, diagonal from Dixon. And Gary Jack was the man doing the tackle. There's Powell, low pass to Fox. Long ball from Fox. It's Darks. Last tackle, 5 metres from the line. Fox, looking at the corner of his eye, decided to give it to Clark. Clark trying to batter his way over the line, but good defence. Young was there, Mark Lee was there.
Super defence there, Lee and Young. Really knew what was happening there. It had to be. They put themselves under a lot of pressure. The scrambling defence held out.
Jason Critchley, 20 tries for Salford this season. Hasn't had the opportunity yet to show us his pace, but on a night like this, he will be a little bogged down in the mud. Williams juggling with it. It's a bar of soap, isn't it?
You know the tactics though, quick play the ball, see that the defence going in a backward direction, take full advantage, get over that advantage line. Now where are the chasers?
They're coming, but that's a good run from Darks. Minute and a half to half time. Considering what they're playing on, the 26 players on show have given us a real treat here tonight. Congratulations to them in this Stones Bidder Championship, the top match of the weekend in Division 1. The league leaders, Bradford Northern, in possession with Gratian, leading by the early try, courtesy of Medley. Trying to add to that total just before half-time. Delayed pass to Heron.
As you mentioned, Eddie, full credit to either side. They really have worked hard, but not only that, they're trying to be quite enterprising in conditions, really, that should be just one-out football.
Fox will dab it forward again. It hungs in that mud. It sticks and forward this time. Says, well, I'm not going to try and do anything fancy. I'm just going to hack it. And hack it he does.
Neat little kick again from Fox, but this time Ford said, I'm not going to make a decision at the last moment. He did a few minutes into the game and allowed Bradford a very soft try to Paul Medley. On that occasion, no chance. Kicked it right over the top.
Good length on that dropout. Up to halfway. Collected by Richard Darks. We're entering time added on for stoppages, and there hasn't been much of that in this opening half here at the Willows. Fox again. Another little kick over the top. There's Kebby. Critchley is there though, and Critchley, does he apply the air brakes? He does. It doesn't matter anyway, because there's the half-time siren. and Bradford lead by 4 points to 0. One try in this first half. It was scored by Paul Medley, the prodigious try-scoring forward for Bradford Northern, playing tonight on the wing. But well done, the players of both sides.
You're watching Sky Sports.
The Players. Once a year, the world's greatest gather. The event. One of the most prestigious on the Pro Tour. The pressure. Faces of stone, steady hands and nerves of steel. The honour. Britain's finest returns to defend his title. The challenge. To join an illustrious list of past winners. The championship. The British Open. Coming soon, live and exclusive to Sky Sports.
The winner was the chocolate. Then go down with the captain.
At 40 calories a cup, you can keep your options open.
Peugeot 306 drives the imagination.
Guten Tag, this is Woody Woody.
Sit down!
Good morning.
Wette Trinker und Bergleben.
Brewed at 4.1% for a fuller flavour. No wonder it's number one.
Turned out nice again.
Aye, aye.
Ah! Open it,
Don't worry, Pet. Look, see what we get.
We could win £500 in Monopoly money. Which you send off and they exchange for real money. How much?
500.
Get winning with Walker's, Britain's best loved crisps.
Where I'm going, I can't be sure what they'll be having for breakfast, so I'm packing my own. I'll definitely be wanting bran fibre, no added sugar or salt, and 100% whole wheat. So it can only be shredded wheat.
Will you been eating anything else, love?
No, with this lot and a bit of luck, we'll be fine.
Shredded wheat and bite size too.
There is no better cereal.
The best stories ever written are now being told on Talking Classics, a brand new collection at your newsagent for only $3.99. Great novels on 2 cassettes, well read, for you to enjoy. Oliver Twist, Rebecca, Wuthering Heights. Discover the pleasure of Talking Classics, starting with Tess of the D'Urbervilles. The world's great novels, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, on cassette and CD from Orbis Classics. Issue 1, only 99p.
Without a choreographer, there is no ballet. Without Hellmann's, there is no salad. Original, creamy smooth Hellmann's. The only mayonnaise.
6:30 Sunday, an all-new Simpsons. Woohoo! Homer's going to space.
All systems go.
Sounds crazy.
You there yet? I'm thirsty.
But it's true.
Hey guys, look what I smuggled aboard.
Homer, no!
Plug the instruments. You won't believe the mess he's in. With special guests.
Buzz Aldrin.
And James Taylor.
This is a disaster.
Gotta go.
The funniest episode yet.
That is that.
A new Simpsons on Sky One.
Seize the day.
Half-time then here at the Willows. Salford 0, Bradford Northern 4. The try from Paul Medley very early on. But it's that pitch really that is the main talking point here at half-time. Absolutely dreadful conditions for the players at both sides. And Steve-O, before we progress any further, we must say full marks to the players of both Salford and Bradford. They're doing very well in awful conditions.
Yes, you've got to take the hat off to both sides. They're trying to keep the ball alive and make a very, very entertaining game. We said before the game that in these conditions you have to use a kicking game, and it didn't surprise me that very early in this game that the first try came about. There you can see the rain still pounding down on the pitch. It's not going to improve in the second half, but I'm sure and I hope that they come out with clean clean shirts, not just for the commentators, but I'm sure the players will enjoy that. It was a very tough encounter. We expected the forwards to come, and this is the type of game that we expected. And there's no better exponent than Derek Fox. It was a beautiful kick through, but I'm afraid not the best attempt from Phil Ford. He was caught in two minds, in my opinion, and it really did give Paul Medley a gift, 4 points. And that will be the way to go in the second half. I'm sure that both coaches will say they've got to use the little grubber kick because the ball can do anything on wet conditions.
Well, Phil Ford certainly learned his lesson, didn't he? Because later on in the game he hacked the ball dead when a similar situation was on its way perhaps there.
Yes, it won't do it again, and I'm sure that Gary Jack will have a few choice words to say to the Welsh winger. It's going to be down to stamina as far as I'm concerned. I think the forwards have got to take it very heavy. It's all about position, kicking downfield, and perhaps just waiting for that odd mistake, because I think a mistake in these conditions will decide who goes away with those vital 2 points.
Well, Paul Medley scored one, and he came so close to scoring a second in that first half. And it's this kick ahead from Fox. And there it was. It looked to us, Steve-O, as though Medley was well onside.
Yes, well, it does on the replay, but of course the referee Russell Smith does not have that advantage. But it's the game that we expected. And look at Medley going skimming through there, right into the billboards. He would have hurt, I thought he might have hurt himself in there. It is awful conditions, but full credit to both sides. They've played some entertaining football.
You said it might well be a mistake that decides it at the end of the day. We've already seen one. Do you think that Salford can come back in the second half?
I think they can. I think the biggest problem with Salford is the fact that they were getting into a very good position, looking as though they're going to be threatening to score the points, and then they'd either drop the ball or perhaps give away a silly penalty. They really have got to camp down on this Bradford quarter and then apply the pressure. They've got the forward power to do it, and they've also got the little halfback in Andy Gregory. While Everett is on the field, they're always in with a chance.
Well, patience could be the key in this second half, but well done to the players of both sides. A great 40 minutes we've seen, and we have another 40 ahead of us. Now, can Salford hit back and come back and win this match and almost end Bradford Northern's championship hopes? We shall see. It's Bradford, though, the big league leaders, who are ahead 4-0 at half-time.
You're watching Sky Sports.
The WBO World Heavyweight title, the WBA, and the IBF World Heavyweight title, the WBC World Heavyweight title. Only Sky Sports brings you the next 3 World Heavyweight title fights live. Saturday, 9:30, Bent versus Hyde from the real heavyweight in sport, Sky Sports.
When you see something irresistible, don't you get that urge to bite? Like when you see the soft waves of Viennetta, and you want to sink into that soft ice cream, to discover the crisp layers, just waiting to be bitten. Follow your instinct. That's Wall's Viennetta, soft enough to bite.
Have you ever been in a situation where someone's saying one thing to you, but their body is telling you something completely different?
Yes. It's very difficult.
I'm practicing my body language.
I'm not exactly enthralled.
Be careful which way I cross my legs.
Being gay doesn't mean you're not a woman and don't have the same broody feelings.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
You think it's worth it?
I think that it'll just strike you when the time is right.
Soaps, fashion, cookery, drama, relationships. UK Living is the channel that gets people talking.
When you need a painkiller with something extra,
Anodin Extra. Turns off pain.
Mr. Johnson to see you.
Hello, welcome to Kenko. Take a seat.
I'll make this short. I'm sure we're both very busy.
Can I get you a coffee, Mr. Johnson?
Do you have decaf?
I'll have a look.
Right, I'll come straight to the point.
Coffee.
Thank you. So you didn't have decaf then?
No, I didn't. But you did.
Kenko Decaffeinated. Everything we know about coffee in a decaf.
Watch carefully. You're about to see something that won't happen very often. Incredible, wasn't it? The new Rover 600. Cars built this well are few and far between.
Which is the best new hair care product of the year? One which gives you shiny, soft, healthy-looking hair. A panel of professionals and New Woman magazine readers were in no doubt. Pantene Pro V, winner of Best New Hair Care Product in the New Woman Beauty Awards.
The best stories ever written are being told on Talking Classics at your newsagent now for only $3.99. In issue 1, Martin Shaw and Lindsay Duncan read Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
On her eyelashes there lingered tears.
How could you be so treacherous?
He clasped her close and kissed her.
Discover the pleasure of Talking Classics, the world's great novels, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. On cassette and CD from Orbis Classics, issue 1, only 99p.
Newton Davis built the house of his dreams
Will you marry me?
for the girl of his dreams.
No.
But that's where the fairy tale ended.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing? What are you doing here?
Goldie Hawn,
I'm Gwen. I'm his wife.
I'm his father.
Steve Martin,
Told him you were my wife?
in a marriage of inconvenience.
I want this marriage to work.
What?
House Sitter premieres Sunday at 8 on the Movie Channel. House Sitter, just one of 36 premieres you can see in March on Sky's movie channels. Call 0506 460000. That's 0506 460000 now, and we'll switch you on.
Seize the day.
Welcome back to the Willows, where Bradford Northern are ahead 4-0 at half-time. Perhaps their most important 40 minutes of the season on the way, and Bradford leading courtesy of a try by Paul Medley. Normally a forward, operating tonight on the wing. And I think his first touch in that first half was when he put the ball down for the try. We're at the Willows then for this top-of-the-table battle for Bradford in the Stones Bit Championship, and they have 40 minutes to maintain their championship ambitions. The players have just about all changed, except David Young, by the looks of things. David Young has stayed in the first half jersey. Everybody else has got a nice, dry, clean shirt on which to begin this second half. But Steve-O, it won't be long before they'll all look like David Young.
Yeah, it's perhaps a little bit superstitious. Quite a few players in any sport don't like changing the jersey.
Good kick downfield. Gary Jack, player coach for Salford, picks up. His assistant coach Howard Cartwright is now with Bill Arthur downstairs.
Howard, only 4 points in it. What were you saying at half-time in the Salford dressing room?
Well, we know that they've had us under a lot of pressure in that half. Fox has kicked well, and the most of the game's been played in our half. We're going to try and turn the tables a little this half. We're going to try and kick early and play the game in their 22.
It's obviously very difficult out there with these conditions. It's not going to get any easier, is it?
No, we realise that, but we think we're reasonably fit. We think we can last the pace of the game. We're hoping to turn the tables round a little bit now. We're not going to play too much football. We're going to try and keep it tight, but we're hoping to turn them with the kicks.
Greg Austin with the little kick ahead, and David Heron got to the ball first, although Austin hit the deck. He was ankle tapped by Heron as he collected that kick through. Trevor Clark from dummy half, making 9-10 metres before being met by the considerable frame of Paul Forber. Shelford acting half-back. This is Gratian. Gratian enveloped by 3 Salford tacklers, who have, of course, picked up their heaviest league defeat of the season against Bradford at Odsal in October by 44 points to 22. They want to turn the tables for that, and also to maintain their hopes of a top 8 finish to qualify for the Premiership playoffs, and who knows, a place at Old Trafford in the sunshine in May. It'll be a long, long way from this filthy night here in Manchester. O'Connor with this run. Good tackling by Hall. Burgess at dummy half. Blakely and Gregory, and in these conditions that was risky. It's a knock-on. Gregory was thundered by the challenger as well.
Well, a pretty difficult one to make the decision on there. He's not happy by it. There was the Salford fans. But the man that counts, Russell Smith, said it did go forward. And put that down, another mistake to Salford. That's going to be a key factor, running from the dummy half there. Especially with the players in muddy conditions, finding it difficult to get back to 10. If you can make those vital yards, then you can introduce the little kicking game that we've seen already from Derek Fox.
It's David Heron. Still going, David Heron. So difficult to bring him down. Fitness is certainly the key to victory here tonight. Fresh legs on the bench, of course, waiting for both sides, as Winterburn takes this ball down the right wing for Bradford before he's hauled down by the head guard in Peter Williams. Medley in the dummy half. There's the kick from Fox. Fox chasing after it too. It could go anywhere, this. It bounces on the Bradford side. They're in again. And it's Neil Summers. Another kick. And it's produced a second try for Bradford. And Neil Summers, the try scorer, try number 17 of this highly productive season for the Bradford Northern standoff half.
A super kick from Derek Fox. Put plenty of height to this one. But there was plenty of people there. Now, did they interfere with Gary Jack? And from my angle, they stood in front of Jack and made it virtually impossible to go for it. You'll see it a little bit clearer from this angle. It was a super kick, and there were plenty of chasers. The major factor is, did they move into Gary Jack? I think they did. And I'm afraid that is a lucky strike for Bradford. Neil Summers picking up the loose ball, and Gary Jack, he couldn't have got any worse if he'd have built a brick wall right in front of him. But it wasn't seen that way from Russell Smith.
Derek Fox just jogging back. A few seconds ago he kicked it clean as a whistle. So an important 6 points perhaps for Bradford Northern. Now, was this obstruction on Gary Jack?
Well, it looked that way to me. 2 players going forward, making no attempt as far as I'm concerned. You saw Paul Gratian, the prop forward, the ball dropping behind them. I have seen a penalty given for that on many occasions, but not on this occasion tonight.
And Bradford will not be complaining about that decision. Salford might. 10-0. Summers' try. He enjoys playing in front of our cameras because, would you believe, that's the 6th try that Summers has scored in 4 Sky appearances this season. He's a real showman.
Well, it's all about you taking your chances, and when Lady Luck shines upon you like that, you have to take them. Oh, good run. Oh!
That looked a bit high, and there's now all on. It was Gregory who went swinging in, and all the players then converged on the Salford scrum half. The Salford players moved in to protect him, but the player on the ground flat out. And it's Paul Gratian who felt that.
That was an unsavoury incident. The big prop forward, Paul Gratian, striding through. And that, I am afraid, is something we can do without in our game. See it on a different angle. Oh, dearie me. Now, what will the referee Russell Smith do with this? He's a very lucky boy. He has not given at least a coloured card. Which one will it be, the yellow or the red?
Well, he's gone to the back pocket, Russell Smith, and Andy Gregory is fearing the worst. Russell Smith is taking the report from the two touch judges. Gratian, meanwhile, groggily gets to his feet. And I fear the worst for Andy Gregory here. Russell Smith, as Gratian is led away, gets the red card, and Gregory is sent off.
It does not surprise me at all. An attack to the head, well above the shoulders, made no attempt to make a legal tackle. Paul Gratian going to ground, and the sorry sight of a player being sent off, but I'm afraid he fully deserved that. There was a lot of intent behind the action, and the red card had to come out.
And so a night that started so brightly for Andy Gregory with his daughter Lauren as the mascot has ended sourly as Bob Marsden comes on to the field. And the referee has called out Gary Jack, player coach, and David Young, the Salford captain, and has lectured them because Young, while the decision was taken to dismiss Gregory, was carrying on quite a heated debate with the Bradford Northern players. Well, it's turned sour for Salford at the start of this second half.
It's
not a try, and they've lost Gregory.
Yes, it's not what they wanted. But to be fair, that was not what we expect from a professional footballer.
Well, Salford now have got a bit of red mist on, I think. And John Heyman has come on, and Marsden has come on. They're both on the 2.15s for these two sides. O'Connor is the man off for Salford.
Got to be very careful, the referee Russell Smith, to keep a close eye on this now. Tempers are flaring.
Incidentally, the Bradford man off is Paul Gratian, who was the victim of the high challenge by Gregory. Gary Jack tried to work the ball away from his own try line. These are desperate moments for Salford, down to 12 men. What can Phil Ford do about this? That's a good tackle by Adam Greenwood. I do believe I called him Winterburn early on. Adam Greenwood is the second row forward for Bradford Northern, wearing 12. David Heron wearing 13.
Well, whilst a little bit of mayhem was going on out there, we saw the little general Derek Fox come up there and put the kick into the corner. The chasers were there, and that's the type of running that they've got to look now. Salford, they really are up against it. 12 men.
That's a good play, and Critchley has some ground ahead of him. He's got more pace than Hamer. Dabbed the ball round the full-back Dargs, and it's Derek Fox back there clearing and sweeping up the danger for Bradford. But so close for Critchley.
Moving off the mark, they're claiming that Derek Fox was dummying to play the ball, but good recovery from Derek Fox there. That was an ideal play. You saw that he put his body between the ball and the oncoming player. Nice play from Critchley, nice little kick through. But if the ball had been slipped away, it would have gone in the backwards direction.
Hamer driving that ball upfield for Bradford.
But how many times have we seen Salford get themselves in a good position and then give away a silly penalty?
Dixon with that run, it was halted by the tackle from Gary Jack. Bradford on the halfway line with Derek Fox. He misses out Heron and finds Carl Hall. Brima Kebby, the dummy half. Good tackling by Critchley. Good work from the marker position to play the ball. Hall. And there's Greenwood again. Last tackle here for Bradford. Fox will kick, I'm sure. Into the corner. Kevy's after it. Critchley's there too. And Critchley just puts his body between himself, the ball, and the onrushing Kevy.
Well, he was denied a chance of a try, wasn't he, Critchley? When it was Fox that was doing it at the other end. He did this superbly too. Body between the man, as Eddie said. Well, it's all about tackling now for Bradford. They hold a commanding lead 10-0. They will play safety first, I am sure, and just elect for the kicking game and the chase. It is now Salford that have to come up with something a little bit outstanding.
And this is an outstanding run from Blakely. He has got Darks ahead of him. Darks trying to show him the touchline, and Darks scrags him to the floor. That's good defending by the stand-in fullback. Austin to Burgess. Long pass to Lee. This is a good attack by Salford. Continued on here by Forber. But Forber can't get through. They're showing some courage, the big league leaders, and they will not let Forber up, so it's a penalty to Salford. But courage is the key. 10-0 up, coming on the back of their defeat by bottom club Lee last Sunday.
Well, it was a professional foul. They never allowed Forber any chance. He's just claiming to the referee the penalty had to come. But what a great break from Steve Blakely. Sadly for Salford, there was no support, no second phase of attack.
Now David Young will drive it towards the Bradford line. Good, strong, powerful run from the Welsh international prop forward. He is Marsden. Marsden, who has reserved really his try-scoring exploits for the Regal Trophy this season. Now he'd love to get one here tonight. Put Salford back in the hunt for the 2 points. Long way to go yet. Bradford back to the wall at the moment, defending stoutly. It's Burgess and Blakely, and the runner was Williams, and now Austin, and it just was behind him. Just couldn't hang on, Greg Austin.
A missed chance there. You can see Austin just trying to step inside. But good pressure applied from the centre, Carl Hall.
Greg Austin so close to his first try for Salford second time round. Remarkably enough, his first try, first time round with Salford was against Bradford here at the Willows in 1986. Handling errors are creeping up, 20 of them. Salford have made 13. Bit unfair, I think, to point up those handling errors on a night like this, but we do so every week, so why not tonight?
But it does show you the difference that Bradford are only making 50% errors as compared to Salford.
That's why the league leaders, Steve-O. Off the outside of Fox's boot, and it still just found the right mark.
Sliced off the outside of the boot, but bounces in the field of play. So that will be where the scrum is formed, 10 metres in from the touchline.
Sean Brown just getting his first touch for Salford. He's just come on for Phil Ford, and obviously with Andy Gregory being sent off, they need Sean Brown, who did a pretty good job in that position before Gregory's arrival here at the Willows, and they'll be hoping that he can generate something for Salford now.
Well, Gary Jack, player coach, fumbling the ball at the play the ball position. That's handling error number 14 for Salford.
Just not their night, I'm afraid.
Fox in control of the football for Bradford Northern. Yeah, Sean Brown certainly did a good job before Gregory arrived. Didn't do a bad job last time Salford played here at the Willows against Halifax. Summers, meanwhile, the second try scorer, skims away from one challenge but can't get away from Peter Williams. Shelford is the dummy half, and this is Hamer.
Well, normally you'd think that the forwards would be running towards the sticks to set up for a field goal. I'm afraid the drop goal in these conditions, the ball might just stay there.
Well nigh impossible. Good run here from Dixon. Strong tackling again from Salford. They know another try and it could be curtains. Bradford know another try and they're still on course for the title. Little dink over the top once again. The ball bounces and the Salford man comes up with it, but the referee's whistle sounds.
Carl Hall trying to just knock the ball backwards there. Thought that the full-back, Richard Darks, was racing onto it. He was also contesting the ball. The handover going to be pretty hard now for Salford. Still down to 12 men, of course. Bit of a sensation. Andy Gregory being sent from the field for a high tackle, using the elbow on the prop forward Paul Gratian.
Brown switches the direction of the attack and finds Forber. Bradford trying to claw him to the ground. He keeps the movement going though. Carl Hall all round Greg Austin, who has quite a record in English football, the Australian Greg Austin. 201 tries now in his English career. He's scored tries wherever he has played, including here at Salford first time round, but so far a big zero alongside his name tonight, and a big zero alongside Salford's name too.
Talking of centres, been very impressed with the centre Carl Hall tonight. He's worked hard. Certainly been a solid buy for them, hasn't he?
There he is in possession now.
Not only in attack and defence, can play in the wing, of course. Really has made a good fist of it in the centres tonight.
Dixon. Kevy wants to get away from Critchley, loses his footing under challenge from Lee. Roughly, he is brought to ground by Ian Blease. It's all getting a little messy at the play of the ball, isn't it? The referee spotted a little knock on.
Not happy with it, Trevor Clark. You're kidding, ref. He said, no, I'm not. And it is. The spin of the football. Very difficult conditions, though.
Brown, Blakely, now Gary Jack. Jack was keen as mustard to get this match on tonight. If he will feel the same now with Andy Gregory sent off, and the scoreline as it is at 10-0 to Bradford. Williams trying to struggle to his feet. Jack the dummy half. Forber just managed to hang on to that, got rid of it as he fell. Salford keeping the ball alive. Here's Sean Brown. The call was from David Young, his captain. Takes some stopping, doesn't he, Young? He's ploughing his way through the paddy field. That's good play. Here's Austin again. Good tackling though by Carl Hall. You're right, Steve-O, he's had an excellent game, Carl Hall, the former Doncaster man. Sean Brown. Good ball to Critchley. Dabs it forward. Bree McKevy got a hand to it, and then Bree McKevy dropped on it. It was slid out by Critchley.
Very little they could do about it. Went for the ball. Haven't got time to hold a board meeting on those occasions. Slid away, so Salford do get the opportunity. Head and ball here. And the substitution of bringing Sean Brown on. He's a man that can win them the game. He certainly has got the skills. Got to be a little bit more enterprising, haven't they, Salford now?
Meanwhile, Bradford Northern making another change. Brimmer Kebby slogging his way through the mud. Neil Holding sprinting out there, and he'll be really keen to get involved in this because he's waited a long time for a chance. He was saying before the game that he was really nervous about this being on the bench because it's the first time, his first appearance of the season, and his first for something like 18 months. So he really is keen to get involved, and there he goes.
Yes, first tackle for Holding. First appearance since his move last summer. He's the 18 coach at Bradford, and this is his first appearance in the big league since he played for Widnes in 1991. Big moment for him. Big moments these for Bradford too, if they can hang on for the next 20 minutes. Sean Brown just pulled the trigger then, didn't he, almost? Holding first touch, and it was Greenwood who spilled the pass.
Well, Salford really have got to just throw caution to the wind. They really have got to try at it. Still got plenty of time, 20 minutes of this game remaining. They must keep hold of this possession. They really have never applied that much pressure on this Bradford defence close to their line.
Good drive again from Marsden, former Rochdale man. There's David Young, former Leeds man. resurrected his career with the move here to the Willows. Ball back inside to Forber. Forber with a powerful run. It was a good tackle, that it had to be. It was Greenwood. And there's Lee with the chip through, and Holding was there to hack the ball out.
He wasn't taking any chances. The substitute in the right boot to it very quickly.
Drop out from under the post, only reaches the 20-metre line, and Bob Marsden again. Slips one tackle from Heron. There's Ian Blease. These are better moments for Salford.
The forwards are working hard, they're making the ground.
Young was the runner. Almost through David Young. A good job that Trevor Clark was there. That's how close Salford are. A try here, the Fats in the fire, and they've got it! It's the hooker Mark Lee. Put it underneath from the play the ball, and Salford back in the ball game.
It wasn't the best play of the ball, it just stood there. And it turned into a bit of a dummy from the hooker there, but he slid over and took the chance. No chance that Trevor Clark and Paul Dixon could stop. There he throws the dummy and goes back round. He caught the second marker asleep, and that is a great try. Well taken.
Mark Lee. 2 tries against Leeds in the Regal Trophy. His only big league try was against Featherstone. It's his 4th of the season. 4 years here. Steve Blakely. On another day, not a difficult position. And even in conditions like this, Blakely makes sure of the additional 2. 10-6. What a finish.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that 12 players really have rallied around when losing one of their stars. Andy Gregory, of course, sent off in this second half.
Peter Fox knows the battle is not yet won. So, we said it was vital before this match started, and they now face the biggest 16 minutes of their season, do Bradford Northern.
The word will be out, tighten the defence. The second marker was caught there. It was good play by the hooker Mark Lee, took full advantage. The ball game is wide open again.
Salford growing in confidence, and have grown since that try from Mark Lee. A long time coming, but they're not ready to throw the towel in and raise the white flag here at the Willows just yet. Don't forget, Saints Wigan coming up for you on Sky Sports Good Friday. We'll be on air at midday for the big one. St Helens against Wigan. Quite an Easter of rugby league for you, by the way, on Sky Sports. Leeds Halifax on Easter Monday, live at 11 a.m. Following this big league championship right the way down to the wire, and the next 15 minutes will be as vital as any that will be played between now and the end of the season. Bradford Northern know, Steve-O, the big league and their ambitions to win it well and truly at risk here.
Hanging on by the thread, isn't it? We said that the stamina and the fitness would tell in the last 20. Do Bradford have that fitness and stamina? We'll have to wait and see. Salford really have lifted up a cog. They're starting to get into the swing of things. And since the introduction of Sean Brown, we saw a beautiful kick from the substitute there, right into the corner, and the chasers were there.
Hamer the runner, but grounded on halfway by Forber. Last tackle here for Bradford. Fox will have to kick deep and does so. Over the top of Gary Jack. It'll hold in the mud. Jack now will run it back eagerly.
Well, they're the tactics that Bradford have to use. The big kick downfield from Derek Fox. They realise and hope, perhaps, they can cling on to these 4 points. They're looking a very tired outfit, especially in the forwards of Bradford now.
They've slugged it out. Marsden, so important when he comes on as the extra fresh legs for Salford. Blakely will try and get something going too. Here's Sean Brown. That's a good ball back to Marsden. Salford on a roll here. Lee, the man who scored the try, that's given them hope. Blakely to Brown, to Gary Jack, to Greg Austin, trying to dummy and shimmy his way through this Bradford defence.
Really has been a battle royal, hasn't it? Greg Austin against Carl Hall.
Brown, lovely ball inside to Jack. He finds Ian Blease. There's Austin. The gap appeared for Marsden. Oh, and he was almost through. He just lost his footing on that thick clinging mud in the centre of the field. Brown again will attack this Bradford defence straight into the arms of Clark, who did well. Oh, he was surely tackled then. Oh, but Clark was tackled and got rid of the ball on the ground. Referee says play on.
He's the boss. Good play from Brown. Arms, legs, elbows down, and then he passes it. Very fortunate indeed. Brown don't like it, and rightly so.
Salford don't like it either, but it's Carl Hall in possession for them on the halfway. It's Neil holding the dummy half. They attack the blind side to Bradford with Hamer. Holding's in there again. Neat little run from Holding. That typical hunched-shouldered run of the little scrum half. Nervous before the match, on for his first game in the big league for quite some time. Diagonal kick, collected by Williams, not the best pass. Burgess had to go down on one knee to collect it, but Williams was there to support.
Well, Derek Fox was screaming for that football. He wanted to take control of the kick. He didn't receive it, and it was a nothing kick from Bradford. They are looking tired, this Bradford forward pack.
And Marsden has lifted the Salford spirits since he came on. The time ticking away for Salford, and Bradford, rather like a marathon runner, I'm sure this Bradford northern side feel. They can see the tape round the last bend, but they can't reach it. Mistake again. Summers claiming, I think, he was tackled without the ball.
Super little kick through there, Davy Young was. The hooker, sorry, Mark Lee, should I say. Summers went through the centre. Peter Williams got the foot to it. It's going to be interesting, but it appears that Salford got the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, their head and feed. Gary Jack runs straight. He almost took two with him as he headed towards those posts. This is Blakely. Blakely running the angles. Hamer just managing to hold on. Mark Lee. There's Marsden again. Certainly the Salford spirits lifted since Marsden and Brown have come on. That's a good ball, but over the shoulder goes one.
No chance for Ian Blease there. Slippery ball hits the chest. And the chance is gone, he knows it. But as you mentioned, this Salford pack have lifted a gear. They're eager for it. They can smell a chance to snatch these two vital points. And Bradford really are clean off by a breath.
Less than 10 minutes to go. Salford 6, Bradford 10. Bradford in possession with Carl Hall. Clattered by David Young, tackled by Mark Lee. Bradford will be in no hurry to play this ball now. Medley, whose early try gave them such spirit and such hope. I'm sure that the Wigan players will be watching this match as eagerly as everybody else, knowing that a Salford victory or even a draw would really put Wigan back in pole position.
That was good play though by the Bradford forwards. They gained 30-40 metres with two strong runs. The forwards did work hard there and allowed the kick to go deep. That's what they were working for.
Fox punched it into the corner, but Critchley has it. And Critchley, it's indicative really of the head of steam that Salford have got up in the past 10-15 minutes or so. Bradford have got a real battle on their hands here. Williams.
And it was a desperation tackle from the second row, Roy Powell, that saved the day on that occasion. Full credit to Bradford. Their scrambling defence is getting there.
The ball back inside Blakely. So far, the Bradford defence standing firm. Sean Brown doing it to please again. Little signal going out there from the man at dummy half, Mark Lee. He clips one over into the corner. And the Bradford player just able to shuttle it dead. But it will be a drop out from underneath their own sticks. Neil Summers it was.
Good play by Summers, playing in the sweeping role. Didn't take any chances. Slid across the Deading goal line. Now then it's important that Fox gets a deep one.
It's not bad considering. Rory Jack waits, picks up and heads off. Salford again in the box seat in terms of possession second half. Forber is grounded. Lee the dummy half. They're attacking the blind side with Marsden.
Oh, they're out on their feet, Bradford. Taking very slow to move forward.
There's Lee again trying to go on his own. Just hauled back. Young now using his strength. The Bradford Northern forwards hold him out. But they are blowing hard. Dabbed forward again by Lee. But it's Bradford who come up with it. But another dropout coming up from under their own post here.
Good play by Lee to get the ball there, but the Bradford was equal to the task. They grounded the ball. There's quite a few of them there.
Don't ask me who it was.
I think it was Shelford, the centre.
Pick one from 13. Anyway, it's another dropout for Derek Fox. Good length again, midway inside his own half, though, picked up by Gary Jack, who will again attack down that left-hand side, clips the ball over the top. And this time, the Bradford man comes over, and that was on the first tackle, and that was strange.
I just can't believe that. I really cannot believe that they wasted the opportunity and kicked on the very first tackle. He took the ball from the dropout from under the post. Well, I know that the kicking game was going to be important, but not on the first tackle.
No one was going to be having a go at him. It was the player coach.
I just cannot believe that.
Look at that mud underfoot. What an effort, what a heroic effort from these two sides. And the penalty count to 11 penalties, that's all. 6 to Bradford, 5 to Salford. Bradford trying to hack the ball away, and he's got to be offside. The fullback, Richard Darks, just lost his marbles for a moment then, so anxious to get to the ball first.
Well in front of the kicker, and he didn't realise there, and that is a let-off for Salford. They now have 6 more. The seconds are ticking away, and the forwards really are running very strongly indeed.
5 minutes to go in this match. It has been a battle royal in the most atrocious conditions. Here's Forber, and Bradford Northern know that the next 5 minutes it's despair or glory, as we said at the start.
Playing very enterprising football. They're trying to run around, the little flicks back inside.
And Brown, did he manage to? He did manage to retain possession, and Austin took it on for Salford. Dab again forward. It almost came off. It did come off. The ball out wide to Critchley. Critchley going for the line. He's forced out. Salford so close. Heroics again from Summers. What a match Neil Summers is having.
Super play from Summers, who's playing in the full-back position now. Here he comes to help out. It was Richard Dark who's gone out onto the left wing. Critchley, so close. Once again, a little number 6, Neil Summers. He's had a good game tonight.
The seconds ticking down for Bradford Northern. if they do win the championship, they will look back to this night at the Willows and know that this has been the most heroic of efforts. Remember, they're without Furbank and Newlove, they're international stars in France with Great Britain. David Watson suspended.
And they weren't happy about starting this game. They thought that the ground was unplayable.
If they come out with a victory and 2 points, there'll be no complaints. Medley has really run strongly all night. First try.
Talk about lifting the spirits. That was a superb run by Paul Medley. And once again we see Roy Powell taking it up. 2 good drives, and that makes the kick so important.
Heron.
It means that the kick can force Salford back into their own half.
Last tackle, but it's Fox who's at dummy half, and he's tackled in possession. It's the turnover on the last tackle. Just 2.5 minutes to go. Salford in possession with Blakely. Fox caught in possession. He went into dummy half, couldn't get rid. After those 2 good drives upfield by the forwards, Brown gets the ball away to Blease, and Blease brushes a couple away. 2 very tired teams on show here tonight. Stamina sapping. The ball spews out again. It looked like it went backwards, but the referee gives the decision Bradford's way.
Adam Greenwood, I think it is, that went in. That was a superb tackle. Shook the ball clear. It has been an heroic effort from both sides. Bradford looked out on their legs, but they have fought back. The forwards have rolled their sleeves up, worked hard. They've been under pressure for the last 15 minutes, but they still hold that 4-point lead.
This is Carl Hall, who has played well tonight for Bradford. Normally on the wing since his move from Doncaster, but doing a sterling job in the centres. Now Hamer gets through one, almost through again, but Williams stuck to the task. But this is better from Bradford. They're now in the Salford half of the field. It's a good run from Trevor Clark, their hooker.
Sensible play from Bradford. Forwards working hard, making that vital grounded.
Holding through the gap, gets the pass away. Bradford keep the movement going with the foot. It's the last tackle for them. And we're in the last minute of normal time. Bradford with Heron will run it. Heron all the way to the line. Heron! That's a magnificent try from the veteran David Heron. And that's the match winner for Heron. And the one that will keep Bradford on course for this big league title.
Salford fell for the 5-card trick. They held off. They expected the kick. You could see no one running. It was only the centre Peter Williams and the big forward David Heron. That is a superb try. But you have to look at the defence. There you saw Williams was the only one that moved up. The rest of the Salford players hung back. They anticipated the kick. This guy didn't. That is sheer strength and power. Look at it there. There's just one man to make any attempt on the tackle. It was too late then. When this man gets running, he has the speed and the strength. And that is the match winner.
And that's the reason why Peter Fox calls David Heron his main man. It's his best try return for 4 years since hitting double figures with Leeds. 6th of the season. Fox jogs back. But he's missed the kick for Bradford. It might not matter because we're deep in stoppage time and the gap 8 points. Bradford have stood up to their test of character and courage.
Courage indeed, but also hard work in the forwards. They were camped down in their own quarter, but 2 great runs there from their forwards. First it was Powell and then Hamer took them all the way down 45 metres downfield and got them into that position.
And a darting little run from Neil Holding too that brought them to closer to the posts. And 1 tackle later, Bradford's David Heron was over, and he is Holding again. Good run from Holding.
Well, full credit to these players. Awful conditions. But what a night this guy's having, Carl Hall. He's impressed me no end.
Two very, very tired sets of players just waiting for that full-time siren. And Bradford, who didn't fancy this when they arrived and saw the lake that was the Willows, but I don't think they'll be complaining now. Two vital points. It will increase their lead at the top of the table.
They've shown a lot of character, both sides, but full credit to Bradford. They were on the rack for at least 15 minutes. They looked tired, but their scrambling defence was there. A couple of occasions we saw Neil Summers, who's dropped into the full-back position. He saved the day for them.
And they just couldn't hang on. There's the full-time siren. Irony of ironies, it has finally stopped raining. But Bradford Northern will be celebrating all the way home on the M62 tonight. They have picked up the most valuable victory. Neil Holding enjoyed the taste of the big league, and Bradford, courtesy of Heron's late try, wins the match.
You're watching Sky Sports.